So basically, it's like the caveman days. Nothing has changed in terms of biology with men and women. I was telling my husband on the way here that all the successfully married couples, the guy was like, I want her. Judd
Okay.
Apatow, the director, saw Leslie Mann, said, that's my wife.
Oh, wow.
Billy Crystal, that's my wife. Like in 2 seconds, they know who they want. Like the cavemen, they were
Yep.
like, I want her,
The Life of Marin podcast is presented by MAAR Dating Club. MAAR Dating Club is a matchmaking service that represents New York City's most eligible singles. MAAR Dating Club works with professionals who don't have time or interest in dating apps, but still are genuinely ready to find love. We are a boutique firm that focuses on quality matches and guides and coaches our clients throughout the process. Use the link in the episode notes to book your introductory call today.
Welcome back to Life of Marin podcast. Today I have Sherrie Schneider. Hello.
Hi, Marin. How are you?
I'm good. How are you
Good.
today?
So good to see you again.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
So you're the author of the rules. You
Yes.
co-wrote it with Ellen Fine.
Yes.
And do you guys still work together?
Oh, all the time.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys wrote the rules in 1995.
Right.
And since then, you've had how many books?
This is the 6th.
The 6th book.
Yeah.
And you guys have co-wrote all the books?
Yes.
Okay, so just for people who don't know the rules or aren't familiar with our last episode,
Mhm.
what are the rules?
Okay. So back in 1995, the culture was like, just do whatever you want. There was feminism in the 80s. Women were getting, 70s and 80s, women were getting jobs as lawyers, doctors, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And they were feeling equal to men, which they should be, academically and, financially and professionally.
Mm-hmm.
But they carried it over into dating, and they thought that they could be like men with dating.
Okay.
They can ask men out. They could sleep with them right away. They could move in. They could travel to them, pay. It was like anything goes, like the Wild West. And we noticed that it wasn't working, that friends of ours that did that approach were getting rejected, hurt, dumped. And we were like, this doesn't work, And we noticed that the girls that were a little hard to get and unavailable got the guy.
Yeah.
So we wrote it all down. Don't talk to men first, end the date first, wait to sleep with him, don't travel to him, let him pay, courtship. The difference is we're not like 50s women. We are doctors, lawyers, podcasters. We're just doing this with dating, and it works.
So there was a little bit of a revolution in 95 when you guys released the book where women were like, this isn't working, so now let's kind of go back to the old ways. So would you say it's because men and women biologically are different? I know you talk about that in the book, but, obviously biology and evolution is years and years and years in the making, and it doesn't just shift because the culture shifts.
Right.
So what's the difference between men and women when it comes to dating and courtship?
Good question. So basically, it's like the caveman days. Nothing has changed in terms of biology with men and women. I was telling my husband on the way here that all the successfully married couples, the guy was like, I want her.
Okay.
Judd Apatow, the director, saw Leslie Mann, said, that's my wife.
Oh, wow.
Billy Crystal, that's my wife. Like in 2 seconds, they know who they want. Like the cavemen, they were like, I want her, I want Thelma or whatever her,
Yeah.
that show. So it's sort of like that still, no matter how sophisticated we've gotten with our careers, and we own condos and we run 5K races and, whatever, we still have to be picked. We can't go to a guy and pick him. It just doesn't work that way biologically. The men are hunters.
Okay.
And it's just the same dynamic
so
today.
Men have the impulse to hunt, and if they're not picking you, you're just going to be wasting your time.
Exactly. You can't make a man like you. You can't make him like you by being nice, by decorating his apartment, by paying, by sleeping with him.
Yep.
They either like you or they don't.
So now you have the Rules Handbook, which is your latest book.
Right.
How does that differ from the original rules?
Well, the first book was basically, we laid it out, don't speak to men first, don't date a married man. We were very strict with those rules. And then women wrote to us and said, well, what about long distance? What about same sex? They had all these questions.
Yep.
So we wrote a second book, The Rules 2, that covered long distance and gay relationships and dating divorced men, etc.
Yep.
And then women started to get married by doing the rules. So we wrote the Rules for Marriage, which is kind of the opposite of playing hard to get. Now you're easy to be with.
Okay.
So when my husband asked me to make an omelet this morning, even though I had a lot of other things to do, I said, sure, because I'm easy to be with.
Yeah.
And then 13 years ago, when technology was really taking off with dating apps and social media, women were like, I know not to call men, but what about texting? What about Facebook? What about Instagram? So we had to write rules for that.
Yep.
which is kind of similar. Don't follow him. Don't DM him for, let him make the first move in cyberspace.
Okay.
So this book is sort of a compilation of all our wisdom of 30 years. But I saw it, just like we were saying earlier, women get hopeless at a certain age, in their 30s mostly, 30s and 40s. And this book is a daily dose of hope, encouragement, wisdom, and, just reinforcement of the rules, because every day you wake up and you think, I'm going to DM that guy, or that guy at work is really cute. I know he hasn't asked me out in 5 years, but I think I'll suggest, going to a Broadway show. There's something in you that still wants to do it the wrong way, to fight the truth.
Totally.
And we're like, no, don't waste your time.
It's almost like a daily mantra or a daily dose of the rules, like you said.
Yes, exactly.
So what about other dating experts who talk about, dropping the handkerchief or kind of making eye contact with a guy to show him that you're interested? Yeah. Do you believe in doing those little things either via cyberspace, social media, or, at the bar going up and saying hi to someone?
No.
Why?
What we think of that is that they're snake oil salesmen.
Okay.
We really think, this is really very important point, that they are selling you a bill of goods. They are like people that tell you to eat whatever you want and you'll lose weight. Don't be naive.
Yep.
You cannot, I read somewhere on social media that she said, okay, I'm not going to go up to a guy first at a bar. I'm going to tell the bartender to tell him that I think he's cute. What's the difference? He still knows you like him, and it's dead. He'll sleep with you.
Yeah.
He'll go out with you, get drunk with you, but he's not going to ever respect you because you're not the bungee jump. You're not the girl he can't get.
Oh, okay, now
he has to feel on some level that you are out of his league or unattainable, just a little bit.
Yep. And there is
otherwise it's like a dead deer at your doorstep. There's no hunt, there's no chase, there's no fun.
I'm kind of a straightforward, blunt person.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, if you're cute, he's cute. Why does it matter who makes the move? But you're saying no, he does have to make the move so he can have a little bit of that chase, a little bit of those obstacles to jump over.
He wants to feel that there is something that he has to fight for.
Okay.
Like when Michelle Obama met Obama, he worked for her, so she didn't like him. She didn't want to date an employee. He had funny ears, she said. His name was funny. She was picking him apart, which made him want her more. Okay, so he went to Harvard. He became president. Do you think he's really going to want to marry a girl that walks up to him and says, you're cute? No, he wants to marry the girl that thinks he's not good enough for her.
Yep.
So that he can proudly say, my wife, Michelle.
I won her over.
Yeah, I won her over.
So you say my boyfriend and I were rules by accident because we started out as friends, and I did set him up with two of my girlfriends.
Right.
And then he finally told me that he liked me. So are you saying that people should start setting up their crush with their friends? Is that a tactic? I didn't know what I was doing.
Right,
I genuinely just thought we were friends when I did it. But is that a strategy?
I think if you like somebody, you can pretend you don't. That's a good strategy, because the worst thing you could do is say, I have a crush on you.
Ooh, okay.
Because then he'll be like, if he doesn't like you, he'll be like, oh, that's so sweet, and never ask you out.
Right.
But if he likes you, then he'd be like, oh, okay. But it's still, you kind of ruined it a little bit. But it was perfect that you set him up with other people. And then he thought you were out of his league. And, now sometimes guys say she's out of my league and they don't make any effort. So that's sort of not the rules, because you're saying she's out of my league, I'm not interested. But he said she's out of my league and I don't want to lose her.
Right.
So he did make it happen.
Yeah, he made it happen. I didn't make it happen.
Right.
I was very naive the whole time.
So you did it by accident?
Yeah.
But if you like a guy, pretend you don't, walk away,
Yeah, that's interesting, because there are a lot of women who buy into, he's intimidated by me, he thinks I'm out of his league, so I have to let him know that I'm interested. Yeah. What do you say to that? Is it just not true?
It's not true. If a guy's intimidated by you, to a certain extent, okay, so Cindy Crawford was married to Richard Gere, and it was a disaster. It was a setup. It wasn't the rules. But Randy Gerber always had a crush on her. And the second they her marriage ended, he was all over her. Now, she was out of his league on some level. I mean, she was like a supermodel, and Randy Gerber was like nobody. This is before George Clooney and the liquor business. And he took that jump, he went for it.
Yeah.
So he might have been intimidated, but the issue is you can be intimidated a little bit, but if you make the move, then you're not that intimidated.
Yeah.
Like, it's okay to be intimidated, but you still have to shoot your shot. You still have to try.
And I do believe that even the shy guy, even the intimidated guy, when he likes someone enough, he does make it happen. Like, don't feel bad for men.
Never.
Because men are conditioned from a very early age to do what they want.
Exactly.
And I think people forget that.
They go for it.
One
of our clients / coworkers in the early days was Jennifer Fessler, who's now a New Jersey housewife.
Okay.
She worked at It's Just Lunch, which was a matchmaking service. And her future husband came to her office and said, I want to go out with you. And she said, we don't date clients. And he said, well, there are any more like you out? It's like he did not. And Jeff is very shy. Her husband is shy. If you've seen the Housewife show, he doesn't say a word. I went to a wedding with him. He doesn't say a word.
Okay.
But he managed to get this girl. And, they've been happily married for 25 years. So even a shy guy will keep trying.
Okay. No.
So that's why we don't say, oh, he's shy. That's why. He's just not interested enough.
Got it. It's a good thing to keep in the back of your mind as you're dating, because if they are interested enough, they will make it happen.
The rules are truth serum. Like, we're not into BS. We're not going to tell you, things that make you feel good in the moment. Like, oh, sure, he likes you. He's busy with work.
Yep.
You haven't heard from him because he was in the hospital. I mean, come on. Everybody can text. Like, there is no excuse. We don't. Clients pay us not to tell them lies. We have to tell them the truth. You need to grow your hair long. You need to get extensions. You need, to go out. Like, you can't just go from the office to your couch watching Netflix. You have to stop at the sports bar on the way home. Yeah. If you want to meet a guy at 35, like, where are you going to meet a guy?
Yeah. You need to be going out.
Yeah.
Do you agree with the phrase that it will happen when you least expect it?
No.
Okay.
I mean, it does happen for some women.
Yeah.
Listen, I've had clients that met their husband in an elevator, in college, at pickleball, whatever. But they're lucky. I mean, most of our clients are on dating apps, are going to speed dating, pickleball, tennis. I mean, I did all those things that I didn't even enjoy. I don't care about tennis or skiing or whatever. I did them because there were single men there.
Yeah.
So I wasn't one of those lucky ones that met somebody accidentally.
Yeah. No, I like that.
So
I don't like that, but led you to be.
It's a harsh reality that you're just going to have to work for it a little bit. You're going to have to show up but not speak to anybody first.
Okay. So it's kind of a little counterintuitive because you're doing the work, but then once you get to the location, you just have to sit back and do nothing.
Exactly.
Okay. You speak a lot about appearance, diet, and exercise in the rules. How does one's physical appearance influence dating?
Well, you have to do the best with what you have. So we're not saying, you're going to be a supermodel. We're saying, get to goal weight, grow your hair long, look feminine. We have clients who email us, I can't meet anybody. It's been, 10 years since my divorce. And we say, send us some photos. And they have severely short hair. Glasses, flannel shirts. Like, nobody taught them how to dress. Nobody taught them how to date. Nothing. So we hotten them up.
Yeah.
Heels, short skirt, like basically what you're wearing.
Yeah,
Basically look like Marin.
No, don't. But it's not that hard, though. Like, if you think about it, it's just buying a few, like, pieces that are in a flattering color.
Right.
Get some dresses and skirts, mix them into the wardrobe.
Yeah.
And we do that, too, with our matchmaking. And, a lot of women are like, well, I don't want to try that hard. I don't know if I like him yet. And it's like, no. You have to try hard at the beginning to draw in his attention, and then you can decide if you like him. What are clear signs a man is interested in dating you? Like, how do you know?
He approaches you either online or in person. He asks for your number. He asks you out.
Where are the best places to meet men?
I mean, here in New York City, there are sports bars. There are just bars, upscale restaurants, pickleball, tennis, singles, anything,
Yeah, going to the mixer.
Yeah, the mixer, the gym, Equinox, go to some upscale gyms.
But then still let him approach you first.
Of course,
I
yes.
think we have to repeat that over and
Don't
over
go to
again.
there are no men at yoga. I mean, maybe a couple, but you're not going to meet guys at Pilates. Go to like a mixed gender gym.
How do you maintain the mystery when you are in a relationship?
Well, if you're living together, you can always maintain mystery because nobody knows what you're doing. They're not hiring a private eye. Like one of my clients is like, isn't it rude? I'm not texting him back, for an hour. And we're like, okay, you have a job, then you have Pilates, and then you have friends, and you're calling your mother, whatever. It's like, that's 4 hours, this idea that just because you have the technology at your fingertips that you have to answer right away is ludicrous.
Yeah.
You have to have a life. Unless it's an emergency, like, I'm booking tickets now for a concert and I need to know in 3 seconds if we're,
Yeah.
It's never like that. It's like, hey, what's up?
Totally. So you're saying if he says, hey, what's up, wait 4 hours?
Yeah.
Okay. But then I do think some people take it to a far extreme.
Yeah.
And I actually have clients where I think they shoot themselves in the foot because they take 24 hours to get back to him.
Yeah, that's not necessary.
And I think it's like it's a little too long.
Right. We're hard to get, but we're not impossible to get.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, that's interesting.
But in terms of being mysterious, so if you're living with a guy, always be leaving the room he's coming in. Let him speak to you first in the apartment.
Okay. Because, I moved in with my boyfriend. Do you approve of that?
If it's going in in the right direction.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not living with you to play house.
Right.
I'm not living with you so you could see if I brush my teeth to your approval.
Yes.
There has to be some conversation that this is going
in a certain direction, which is marriage, commitment, all of that.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. And then what are the rules for a long distance relationship? Because a lot of our clients, they're New York City based, but there aren't a lot of great men in New York City. And a lot of, like, even your husband, he was in New Jersey, you were in the city, and it was like a medium distance. I won't say it's long distance, but it's a little bit more medium distance.
Yes.
And so I'm encouraging a lot more of my clients to start to explore medium distance dating. And so I'm just curious, what are the rules for long or medium distance dating?
Well, he should come to you. He should travel to you.
Okay.
Like we said in the first book, at least 3 times before you travel to him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I never went to New Jersey. When we were dating, he drove to me. Even if I went to New Jersey to an interesting restaurant that he picked, he would drive both ways. He would pick me up,
come and pick
drive
you
to New
up.
Jersey, come back. I never asked. He never asked me. It was like just a given that he was always going to do the traveling, the planning, the paying, everything. I did nothing. So if I was in a long-distance relationship with a guy, let's say in Minnesota or California, I would probably not visit him for the first 5-6 times. I mean, I wouldn't want to visit someone until they said exclusive, boyfriend, girlfriend. I don't want to date anyone else.
Okay.
I mean, packing, getting on a plane. I mean, it shows so much interest.
Yeah. So you're saying let him come to you. So
as much as possible.
How often should you guys be seeing each other in a long distance relationship?
As often as he can get on a plane. I mean, twice a month, once a month.
Okay, and then
but never ask. Like, it should always be his idea to come to you.
Yeah. And then after how long should you cut it off? Like, if he's not coming on a plane for a month or more than a month, like, when is the cutoff point where you can just tell he's not that serious?
Yeah, I would think that if he liked you, he would want to see you within a month. So, yeah.
So, at least once a month you're seeing each other.
Yeah.
And he's coming to you at least the first 3 times. What you're saying, 6 is kind of the sweet spot.
The more, the better.
Okay. What should you...
I mean, guys fly to football games.
Yeah, they do.
They drive to concerts. I mean,
Men are
my husband
resourceful.
went to the Giants game. They had a pre-game thing, whatever it's called, for 6 hours, and then the game. It's like
tailgating.
Yeah, right. It was like that's like California.
It is. No, you're right. Okay.
So nothing. Don't ever, be nice to a man or think that you have to
cater to
them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then if you're doing a long distance relationship, how soon should you become official?
As soon as he brings it up.
Okay. So what if he doesn't bring it up for 6 months? Do you drop him?
You're not dating him exclusively.
Okay.
Okay. So if I met a guy and I was in a long distance relationship and he was not saying exclusive, I would be dating people locally.
Oh, so you're saying
I would be dating
open.
Everyone.
Yeah.
I would be dating
until
anyone and everyone.
Says exclusive.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Because I tell my clients if he doesn't make it official by the 8-week mark, like you should probably just move on with your life.
Yeah.
Because a guy who really likes you is going to
He'll know.
Yeah, he'll know and he'll want to mark his territory.
Right.
I think it's a little unnatural for a guy to be seeing you for 6 months and not put a label on it.
Did you watch The Golden Bachelorette?
I didn't.
Oh.
Why?
Well, because, she's from Maryland and Chalk was from Kansas. I mean, it was all long distance eventually.
Okay.
And he was like, he gave her the keys to an apartment in the city, like a symbolic key.
Yep.
Chalk was like he was crazy about her from the minute he met her.
Okay.
Whereas with the other guys, Pascal, I think he was in Chicago, he was fun. He was like a flamboyant hairdresser. She really liked him because she wanted like a fun guy. She's a widow. She wants fun in her later life. And he was like, I don't know how I feel and I'm not ready. And my daughter put me up to this. She filled out the form for the.
Oh, no.
So it was like, and she was starting to feel like she was unlovable. Like it really did a
damage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the third guy was just. He was also, I didn't know if I could come to this point. They were all like, what? Like, what do you mean come to, like, you either know or you don't know.
Yes,
like, you either know or just leave me alone.
Yep.
And Chalk, he's from Wichita and he's moved to New York City.
Yep.
When guys are not interested, like, no, I couldn't possibly leave my family. I have grandkids, like they have all these reasons. But he's like all in.
If they're all in, you'll know.
Yeah.
I agree.
They move. They travel. They just do.
They make it happen. They're men.
Yes.
Yeah.
They do cartwheels.
When should you have sex with a man for the first time when dating?
I mean, it depends on your ages. Are we talking about the 30 something?
Yeah. Women in their 30s.
I mean, I would say try to wait a couple of months.
A couple months?
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say 3 dates.
No.
Okay.
No.
Interesting.
Wait as long as possible because especially in this environment where guys are on dating apps and like talking to so many women, you want to feel like, I mean, it's not that he needs to say exclusive and then you'll sleep with him, but you should get that feeling like you're going to hear from him every week.
Yeah.
And that he's planning dates, especially right now. I don't know when this podcast is coming out, but it's December 3rd. He should be talking about the holidays. He should be talking about New Year's and spending it with you.
Totally.
So if you feel like you're in that kind of relationship, you could sleep with him. But I would wait longer than 3 dates.
Okay.
Yeah.
So expand it
5 to 8.
5 to 8. Interesting.
But the more important thing is that when you do sleep with him, don't be like, well, now that we've slept together, what are we?
Yeah.
Just like jump out of bed, brush your hair and say, I think I'm going to go to the yoga class. Like be light and breezy, not clingy.
Yep.
Women sleep with a guy and then like,
well, because of oxytocin.
And then they like dig their, fingernails into his skin, like we don't do that.
No, that makes sense. So I do like the thought of waiting until consistency or monogamy or exclusivity, something like that. I think that's a good
said
practice.
Or unsaid. Like there should be some kind of vibe that
you can feel it.
Yeah.
Okay. And then how should Rules women navigate the holidays?
Well, he should be bringing it up. He should be suggesting spending New Year's holidays together. Mm-hmm. But if he doesn't, you should have your own plan. Like, you should make your own plans. Like you should be going to singles holiday events and.
How about gifts?
Whatever you give him, let it be less than he gives you. So.
Okay.
I mean.
How do you know though?
Well, I mean, it's nice if they give you perfume or jewelry or something romantic. Mm-hmm. We tell women to give back then it was $50. So $100 like Ralph Lauren sweater.
Okay.
Or a scarf.
Yeah.
You can't get a sweater for $100. But
yeah,
like in the $100 range.
Okay. And then what if you're exclusive boyfriend and girlfriend? What should you give someone that you're not engaged to yet? Now I'm just asking for myself.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the $100 range is fine. It's not a birthday. It's yeah.
Okay.
But sometimes we've had clients where they have a gift and we say hide it in your bag because the guy doesn't give them a gift.
Oh,
so then you're not giving him a gift.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
But then should you dump him if he doesn't give
Well,
you
I mean,
a gift?
these weren't necessarily exclusive, but the holidays came and they were like, oh, yeah, he's definitely going to give me something. And I have a card. I go, hide it in your bag.
Until you see what
he has to give you something before you give. If you give him something and he doesn't have anything for you, it's going to be really awkward.
Yeah. Okay. And then why should you not pamper a guy or spend a ton of money on him?
When you're dating?
Yeah.
I mean, he hasn't earned it. It's like he has to earn it by proposing. He has to earn it by like you pamper your husband.
Okay.
You know, he wanted an omelet this morning. I was very busy. I made the omelet anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I will pamper him because he put a ring on it. He's devoted to me. We're married 30 years. You have to earn it. Like, so girls are giving it away. Like
too soon.
They're giving them gifts.
Mm-hmm.
They're decorating their apartment.
I would never.
They're sending them balloons for a job promotion, like to the office. We don't do any of that.
Okay.
We're like, you're not going to get anything out of me until you know, make it clear that you want a future with me.
Okay. No, that's definitely fair. And you can't buy a man's affection.
No.
You just can't. It's not for sale. And so just pamper yourself, basically, is what you guys say in the book. When should you bring up marriage and children when dating?
Well, he should bring it up.
Okay, but what if you're on date 5 and he hasn't brought it up yet?
Then you wait.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But what if you want to kind of pre-qualify and see if he's a good use of your time?
If he hasn't if you're a certain age, like in your 30s, and he hasn't brought up marriage, children, even a remote way, that's not a good sign.
Yeah, so read between the lines.
Yeah, but don't bring it up. Don't say, you know, with the clipboard, you know, I want to get married in 9 months. And, you know, you can't, like, get a guy
Could you say, what are you looking for in dating?
Not at 5 weeks, maybe. I mean, depending on your age, maybe a couple, 2-3 months.
Oh, so you wait that long to kind of understand?
Yeah, but I think you'll know. I mean, on the first date with my husband, he mentioned his nephews. He said his brother proposed to his wife there. I knew. It was like he was saying those words. Those words were coming out. Like, when a guy likes you, those words just naturally come. So if you're on date 5 and he hasn't said anything about anything, my parents are married a long time, nothing about, then you should probably be dating other people.
Yeah, read between the lines. Yeah, you can feel it. It's just a vibe, like you said, when somebody is pursuing you for a serious relationship that could lead to marriage and a family and all of those things. Okay, how soon should you get engaged?
At your age or the 30s?
I mean, in your 30s.
In your 30s.
In your 20s.
I think 9. I mean, I got engaged after 9 months. He proposed on my birthday at 9 months.
Okay. Yeah. And how old were you when you guys got engaged?
I was 34.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 9 months if you're in your 30s is kind of the sweet spot.
Under a year.
Under a year. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. What if he's saying he wants to spend forever with you but is not proposing? Should you use an ultimatum, or what's the vibe there? So
you're dating 9 months and he wants to spend the future with you, but he's not proposing.
And he's like, I want to marry you.
Just say, that's so sweet.
Yeah.
What's your timeline?
Yeah. Okay.
And if it's like 2 years, just say, that's not going to work for me.
Okay.
He should not be proposing in 2 years. Like, what else does he need to know about you?
Right. So you just say, that's not going to work for me.
Yeah.
Is that
just say I'm old-fashioned and I don't believe in dating for more than 9 months to a year after.
Okay.
At a certain age.
And then do you feel like that would turn him off, though?
Not if he likes you.
Because I do know men have a primary need for independence. And so you never want them to, like, fully feel caged. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want to back them into a corner.
Oh, we're not.
But, you're just saying it like in a light way, but you're just like,
no, we're saying
but you're also
if you don't propose within a year, I'm out of here. I mean,
that's true.
We're going to give them all their independence. I mean, we let them watch football for 5 hours.
Right.
We never call them first. We don't text them. We don't send them articles.
Yeah.
Now, this is like a new thing that's happening where women insinuate themselves into a guy's life. Oh, wow, we talked about sushi at dinner and there's an article about the top 10 sushi places, so I'm going to send them this article. No, you're not. We're not doing anything. We're giving them all the independence they want. They never hear from us.
Oh, wow.
That's why they want to marry us, because we leave them alone.
And then they're like, what is she doing?
Yeah, what is she doing? And then if you want to see what I'm doing, you have to marry me.
Okay. No, that's interesting. So 9 months to a year.
Yeah.
I think, do you feel like there's a time? So like 9 months is probably the early side. Yeah. And then a year is normal. And then when is too long? Like, when has it gone to a point where, like, this is just ridiculous? You either have to...
A year and a day.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And where you're like...
In your 30s?
Okay.
I mean, what are we waiting for?
True.
Like, you want to get...
Yeah. And
you want to have a family?
And men will kick the can down the street if they're not trying to actually marry you, where they'll be like, work is busy. Like, they'll always
the economy.
With a million excuses.
The election.
Yeah. No, that's interesting.
You know, global warming, one guy said, why you couldn't get married.
No.
Yes. They're just BS artists. So we're just out of there. So basically, this is a problem women make. The mistake they make is that they'll give the ultimatum. The guy says he's not ready, and they'll still date him.
Oh.
So if
you
a
have to
guy says
mean
he's
the
not
ultimatum.
ready, we say, well, call me when you're ready.
Oh, that's a good
But
one.
we don't see them while they're figuring it out.
Yeah. And that's kind of,
Yeah.
it's hard though if your life is like completely intertwined.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably why you say don't
You start
move.
moving out. You start taking,
you
start packing a suitcase.
You're on street easy.
This is why we don't like living together that much, because
I can see why.
The guy gets all the benefits of
without
marrying you without marrying you.
No, that's very true. Yeah. Okay, so what does make somebody husband material from your guys' perspective?
They're just they like you from the get-go. They don't have any problems with you. You know, you could, like, I don't know if you saw the movie Some Like It Hot, but did you see it or no?
No.
Oh, you should see it.
Okay.
So these two actors are it's complicated, but they're dressed up as women.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
To avoid the mafia, and so there's this millionaire, and he falls for the man dressed up as a woman, Jack Lemmon.
Okay.
And
it
he
sounds
says,
like Hot Chicks a little bit, but continue.
Okay, he says, I want to get married to you, and he's like, I don't think I'm going to fit into any wedding dress. He goes, that's okay. We'll buy one. And then this is Osgood. This isn't my real hair. He goes, that's okay. I'll get a wig. And then he goes, Osgood, I'm a man. He goes, nobody's perfect. That's how a guy should feel about you. Like, you tell him that, whatever.
Yeah, no, he's like fully all in no matter what. Yeah,
it should be like, there's nothing that stops him from being all in.
Yeah, and so
like your mother's crazy, your father's an alcoholic. That's okay. Yeah. Whatever you tell him. But not in the beginning. We'll make it work. Yeah, we'll make it work.
And that's the thing too.
You don't want to overshare in the beginning.
I'm glad you said don't overshare in the beginning. What are women doing when they're oversharing in the beginning? Like, what's a common thing you're seeing with your clients?
Okay, so a big part of this book, the Rules Handbook, is that you have a higher self and a lower self. Okay. Because so often people say, just be yourself. Like, why do you need any dating books? Why do you need any rules? Just go on dates and be yourself. Well, what if yourself wants to go on a 7-hour first date? What if yourself wants to tell him your whole life story, your abandonment issues, the last relationship where the guy dumped you? Like, it's like therapy.
It's too much.
So that guy is going to have a very hard time being all in, because he's going to be like, hey, like, this is, more than I just wanted to go out for a drink, Yeah. So you have to be careful to not share all the ugly stuff until he's already said, I love you, and like he's all in. And then you can say, oh, by the way, my father, was an alcoholic or something, or whatever your dirty secret is.
So kind of in your book,
like, pace it.
After 3 months, typically, like, he'll know if he loves you after 3 months. Yeah. And then you can kind of pace it out. Yeah. But don't dogpile it. Like he's not your priest. Like, you don't have to confess to him. And maybe there's something that you say at month 3, and then there's something a little bit deeper that comes out at month 6. Yeah. And, like, you don't, again, you want him to know you and accept you. Right. But also, maybe you were in your lower self when certain things happened, and now you are evolved in your higher self. And a lot of people, they want to just, like, make sure someone's okay with it. And do you think, like, you have to have 100% transparency or not?
Well, no, because, like, did you see Nobody Wants This on Netflix?
Yes. Okay. Yes, I love that show. Yeah. It's so cute.
So she kind of does, I mean, first of all, it's the rules in the sense that he saw her at the party and thought she was gorgeous, and he pretended that his car was parked next to hers to walk her to the car, but it wasn't. Yep. However, she's exactly what we're talking about. She was like, I'm just going to say every crazy thing in my head and, see if he still is with me. Yes. Of course, it worked in the movie, and it supposedly worked in real life, but it really doesn't work 99% of the time. Yeah. You can't say crazy stuff to a guy on the first date as a test to see if he's going to stay. It's just like,
it's a crazy test.
Yeah. Yeah. You can't say I'm in 7 12-step programs. My sponsor's calling me right now. Addiction. Yeah. Yeah. I'm in, I have $300,000 in credit card debt, and, I've wait. I mean, we do have clients that have debt from
college,
medical school, whatever, but they wait until, the 6 or 7 month mark, and the guy's like, all right, whatever. Yeah. But if you told him on the first date, he'd be like, I don't know.
Because he's not invested
too much.
Yet.
It's too much. They have to fall in love with your soul before they fall in love with your body and your bank account and everything else, because it's like too much to ask. Yeah.
I agree. No, that makes sense. So lead with your higher self. And I love how you say don't drink that much on dates, because I think that drinking can lead to your lower self.
Right. I always tell clients either don't drink or have one or have a wine spritzer. Yeah. And the ones that don't listen, they end up not only oversharing, they end up initiating intimacy, not even having it, but initiating. They're touching the guy's arm and, all this kind of stuff. And they're just have no self-control because the alcohol is running the show. So it's really a bad idea.
Yep. No, that makes complete sense to me. What should you do if you're dating a man, they're your boyfriend, and they stop planning weekly dates, or they stop, you know what I mean? People get a little casual, they get a little lazy.
Yeah.
Is there a way to kind of reverse that behavior using the rules?
Well, we don't do anything. So if you're not planning the date, I'm not planning the date.
Okay.
There is no date.
Okay.
So, I mean, it all depends on the situation. Like if you're dating 7 months, a Netflix, order Uber, order in, whatever thing is fine. But, in early stages of dating, like this is a real problem for women. They get texts from men that they meet on dating apps saying on the first date, even second date, let's just chill at my apartment. Let's get Netflix.
Oh, yeah. No,
like,
don't do
we're
that.
not doing
That's
that. We're not going
crazy.
for a walk in the park. It's not COVID anymore. It's like they're doing all these cheap, next to free dates. We're not doing any of that. So I would say the first 3, 4, 5 months should be, weekly Saturday night dates, dinners. Again, it doesn't have to be expensive. We're not gold diggers. We're not looking for bougie bites only or 4-star restaurants. We're just looking for courtship. You ask me out, you pay, you plan, you pick me up. So it could be a inexpensive Italian place as long as I'm not paying.
Yeah, I don't believe in paying either when a guy's taking you to dinner. But let's say, we can use me as an example.
Okay.
We've been dating for, I don't even know, maybe 10 months or something. And I wanted to go see Wicked.
Yeah.
And so obviously you have to plan ahead for that. And so I bought our movie tickets 2 weeks in advance. And you're saying that is not kosher for a rules girl.
So is your idea to go to Wicked and if you're dating 7 months and he's doing most of the planning,
you can still
you can do that.
Do
That's
a little
fine.
planning.
It's sort of like when he buys the movie tickets, you could pay for popcorn.
Yeah.
7 months, you can do that if you want.
Okay. So it's not like you're not allowed to plan a single thing, because I know that the rules can be really helpful for people who are super high powered and are used to kind of controlling and going after everything in life. And then it's a little bit of a reverse in terms of what you're supposed to do. So if somebody is super type A, they are the planner, should they not show that side of themselves because that is who they truly are?
Yeah, they should not be the planner in the beginning.
Okay.
And women are doing 2 tickets to a show. I have, some of them have rich fathers and they have tickets to a Knicks game. Then I'm going to wonder, this book is for women who get easily hurt and are insecure. So I'm going to wonder if I'm giving you Knicks tickets on the second date, if you're with me for the Knicks or for me. So I'm not going to give you anything. So I know that you want me and nothing else. I come with nothing.
Oh, I like
no
that.
rich parents.
Yep.
No,
So don't
nothing.
tell them what's in your bank account.
Nothing.
Early days.
Not in the
just
beginning.
make sure.
No.
Yeah, that makes sense.
How do you know if they're dating you for you or your money or your access or your
anything?
Yeah.
Your connections.
It's scary.
Yeah, it is actually scary, especially in New York where there's so many high-powered women.
Yes.
And you don't want him to be with you for the wrong reasons.
Right.
And vice versa. You don't want to be with him for his money either. You have to like him for his soul, you said before.
Right.
Okay. And then you guys talk a little bit about dating people who are separated or divorced in the rules. So what's kind of your take on that? We do have clients who come to us and they're like, he's separated. Is it okay to date him? He's not fully divorced yet.
Yes.
What's your take
As
there?
long as he's not living with his ex-wife.
Okay.
He's in his own place and it's legit,
Okay.
He doesn't have to be divorced. Sometimes men don't get divorced until they've met their second wife.
Okay.
Because it's financially and logistically sometimes a nightmare to get divorced. So you wait until there's no incentive for them to get divorced until they meet somebody else.
Okay, so you're saying if they live separately, and then let's say that he got divorced or is separated and you just started dating, do you still have the same timeline for him?
No.
So what is the timeline to get married to somebody who's separated or divorced?
It's going to be longer.
Okay.
Their first marriage didn't work out, so they're not jumping to marry you so fast. However, there are exceptions like Michael Douglas. I mean, he has all the money in the world, so it doesn't really. But I'm saying when he met Catherine Zeta-Jones, he was he gave half his money to his ex. He just wanted to be done so he could marry Catherine Zeta-Jones, I think probably in a year.
Yeah.
So men will move mountains to marry
for the right girl.
For the right girl. They will just say, here's the money. They won't have all the struggles with the ex.
Yeah. So
fighting over things. They just want to be free.
Is there kind of, because you've been doing this for years and years and years, and so you've seen so many different people's lived experiences, is there kind of a point, like a timeline where this man is never going to fully separate or divorce and now he's just wasting your time? Like what is that? Or what does that look like?
Yeah. I mean, there's so many signs. Like if he's not including you in the holidays, if he hasn't introduced you to his kids.
Okay.
You get like a warm feeling when they are marriage minded. Okay. I mean, there are guys that say, I will never get married again. So then, and if you want to get married, then stop dating them.
Yeah, but maybe you don't want to get married. Maybe you just want to.
I mean, if you want just a partner, that's fine.
That's okay.
Yeah. The Rules is not just about marriage. It's about having a loving partner who doesn't forget your birthday, doesn't,
Yeah.
Just is like, somebody that, will take you to the hospital if you have a problem, that wants to vacation with you, just wants to be with you on the holidays,
Yep.
If you don't want to get married, that's fine.
Someone who loves you and respects you.
You don't want somebody that forgets you.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Okay, I have a few listener questions if you have time.
Sure.
Okay, the first person said, where to meet late 30s men that want to settle down if you work from home?
Right. As we said, they're not going to knock on your door.
Right.
And in the office, I guess there is nobody. Otherwise, she'd be with somebody. So you have to do, speed dating apps. And when I say dating apps, not one, like 10.
Okay.
Hinge, Coffee Meets Bagel, Match, Tinder, whatever. Not Bumble, because Bumble wants you to initiate. Now they say that they don't. You could. And it's like,
it's very confusing.
Then what's the point of Bumble? You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, I do know one couple that met on Bumble and they are getting married.
Okay.
But for the most part, I don't want to be on a site where a guy is expecting me to make the first move because he's going to expect me to do everything.
I don't like Bumble either.
Yeah, it's a bad vibe.
Lazy guys.
It's lazy guys.
Yep, I agree.
So she has to do the pickleball and the singles tennis and the singles. I mean, just
or a co-working space. Like if you work from home,
go
join
to
a co-working space for $300 a month.
Go to Starbucks, like work at a Starbucks.
Yep.
Join Equinox. Anything.
Yep. To just get yourself out there, but also get yourself out there consistently.
Exactly. It's like 3 times a week.
Yep.
It's like going to the dentist. You hate it. It's drudgery, but you have to do it. It's like you can't meet anybody in your apartment. It's like
you have to put in the work.
Ask everybody to set you up.
Yep.
This
book, I love this book because it does motivate people to be empowered to go places, meet people, and just let the universe take charge after that. But you at least have to put yourself in a position to meet someone.
Right.
Okay, next question. Could you ask Sherrie to talk about relationships that started out with the rules but have gone sour? How can I bring my marriage back to being good when we are constantly bickering and talking badly to one another?
So it's a rules beginning and they got married and
it's
now
soured and they're bickering a lot.
Okay, so in the Rules Handbook, we talk about marriage rules, and honestly, I believe you can have a marriage where you just don't fight. I mean, I know it sounds crazy, but George Clooney says he never fights with a mom. And I believe it's like you can avoid fighting if you really want to. And you can make your husband feel important and put him first.
Yep.
What I've noticed among married clients is their friends come first, their kids come first. This is a huge problem. Making your kids like more important than your husband, like caving into kids' demands and neglecting to consult your husband. There's so many ways, decorating the house with your friends, not including your husband in these decisions, things like that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she should, I don't know what she's doing wrong, but, no fighting, no...
Speaking badly to each other.
Yeah. I mean, she should, like watch what the housewives do and don't do that. Like
do the opposite of the housewives. Yes. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, Dorit and PK started out as the Rules. He was crazy about her. She wasn't sure.
Yep.
And then, again, I'm not an expert on that relationship, but, from what I gathered, she was always like complaining about him and, saying things, hitting below the belt. And, and now he's done with her.
Yeah.
She was like, we talk 5 times a day. He goes, well, we're going to talk once a day now because they're separate. It's like it gets really ugly.
PK kind of gives me the ick though.
Yeah.
Because I think he's a notorious playboy.
Yeah.
And you don't want to end up with that guy.
But she's hurt. She's definitely hurt.
Oh, yeah.
So you really can't just say whatever you think. Like, again, it goes back to higher self versus lower self.
Yep.
When you're dating, your higher self is you don't sleep with the guy right away. You don't initiate dates. You don't, move in, whatever, prematurely. in marriage, the higher self is like, you know his weak points and you can mention it, but you don't. Like,
but you don't.
The higher self in marriage is keep your mouth shut. Like, if you have nothing good to say, don't say anything.
I love that.
Because it's really true. You can destroy somebody because you know everything.
You know their biggest vulnerabilities.
Yeah, right.
And so you do
so just
have to
don't
restrain.
say anything.
I also heard something today that the biggest predictor of a marriage staying together is that when you do fight, your objective is to solve the problem together and not to win.
Yeah.
And I think that was powerful because it's like you're not trying to destroy the other person. You're trying to stay together and be a team.
You kind of let them win and let them be right and overlook their flaws because they will have flaws. They're human.
Yep.
Like Ellen and I have this running joke. Sometimes I'll say, oh, my husband ate the whole pie. And she says, call the police. It's like in our minds, them eating the pie or them not making the bed or whatever they did is like a crime.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I can't believe he didn't pick up after himself. I can't believe, he forgot, to get, like I sent him to the supermarket for eggs and he got everything but eggs.
Right.
It's like, call the police. Like, wow, this is
It's a real crime. But it could be much worse.
Yeah.
Sure.
The only things that we really complain about or end a marriage over infidelity.
Okay.
And stealing your money.
Yeah.
Like if you notice that your bank account is missing.
Then that's marriage ending.
Yeah.
Of course. No, that makes
sense. But other
sense.
than that, like just
and
let it
probably
go.
abuse too.
Yeah, definitely. Physical, verbal abuse.
Okay. How to follow the rules in meeting a cute, shy guy at the gym that I see every day.
So he hasn't asked her out.
Yeah, so she sees this guy at the gym every day, but he's cute and he's shy. What should she do?
How long has this been going on? Or you don't know?
She didn't put
she didn't say.
Yeah.
I mean, what are you going to do? See, this is the truth serum part of the rules.
Mm-hmm.
We cannot make a guy, shy or not shy, like you.
Right.
Maybe you're not his look.
Yeah.
I mean, you can wear, Lululemon and you can strut in front of him and you can, I mean, I've seen women at the gym like do the machine next to the guy. He still doesn't look at them.
Yeah. Well, he might have a girlfriend. You don't know. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. He's taken. He's not yours.
Totally.
He could be gay. Whatever he is, he's
really
not
don't
yours.
know.
And they spend so much time thinking, does he have a girlfriend? Is he married? Is he not wearing a ring?
And they're obsessed.
And it's like, it doesn't matter. He never asked you out. So it's over. Just like move on. You have to only like from the pool of men that show interest in you.
Yeah, I agree.
That's it.
So you're saying no DMing the cute guy?
No.
Can you follow a cute guy on Instagram and see what happens? Like a photo?
No.
Okay. How to go from engaged to married following the rules?
Wow, this has been a really nice year. I've really enjoyed this year together, but I'm old-fashioned.
Yeah.
Well, they're not engaged, you're saying.
They are.
Oh, they're engaged, but there's no marriage.
Yeah, which I think that's a little odd, right?
Yeah. When you're engaged, there should be a ring and a wedding date.
Right.
And that, there should be a conversation about that.
Okay. First Christmas with my boyfriend, lost on gift, but he's so thoughtful and caring. You said scarf,
There was no gift?
No. She wants to know what to get him.
Oh, yeah. Something like under $100 for like a scarf or hat or whatever.
Something thoughtful.
Yeah.
Personalized.
Yeah.
How to elevate your self-esteem and self-respect.
Don't talk to men first. Like if you want your self-esteem to dive, talk to a guy first. You will feel like the biggest loser. I mean, because they should have spoken to you. Like, why do you have to talk to them?
Okay.
It's so cringeworthy that you have to make the first move.
Can you talk to them in a platonic way, though? Like, what if you're just
not if your motive is that you like them.
What if your motive is just open? Like, maybe you're open to dating. Maybe you're open to just being friends. You're just meeting people.
No.
You can't talk to
them
first?
You'll always wonder if they liked you. Like we've had clients where they did message first or something first, and they live with a constant, and this is after years of marriage, constant insecurity. He's going on a trip. I wonder if anything's happening. Like,
okay.
They always have this sliver of insecurity that he did not approach them.
What's going on with you guys? Are you guys reading anything new? Where can people find you?
Oh, okay.
I definitely want everyone to read this book, so please promote.
Yeah. Like I said, the Rules Handbook is like, women get easily discouraged, as you know, like you did the 20. First of all, I want to, say how proud I am of what you've done, because doing the 28-day challenge was the equivalent of what we say, like get out there, go on a lot of dates, like we were just saying 3 times a week, because I didn't know about a 28-day challenge. But that is so amazing, that you put yourself out there. So even though you didn't meet your boyfriend that way, you were visible and, in the podcast world, whatever, to make this, happen. So it's interesting. I always tell women, make the effort. You may meet him in the elevator, but just the fact that you were on your way to a singles event shows
and looking
intentionality
cute,
and looking
up.
cute. Yeah. So your efforts will get rewarded.
Totally.
So that's what, so this book is like hope for the hopeless. The cure for loneliness is doing the rules. Don't speak to any man first so that you know who wants you. You never want to be with somebody who doesn't want you. And that also applies, we talk about this in the book, to friends. Like, you don't want to be with the person who you're always making the plans. You're always calling them. If they're not interested, like, let them go.
Yeah. The rules applies to life.
It applies to life. And don't, when you're with somebody, say, oh, I haven't heard from you. And, like, these are very, it's the same difference. It's not a sledgehammer. It's a feather, but it's the same, oh, I haven't heard from you. Like, if you have to say that, then he's not your person. So,
you want a guy who pursues you, period. If he's not going to pursue you early days, then he's probably going to be a horrible husband. And you need to look for that. It's a huge trait that does make somebody marriage material. So thanks for coming back. And this was one of my most watched episodes last time. So people love it. It's refreshing because everyone's so, trying to be politically correct in this day and age, but these rules are just like very like no BS truth serum that I think a lot of people need to kind of revisit.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you. So people can find you on Instagram?
Yeah, on Instagram, The Rules Book, and on Facebook, and we have a website, therulesbook.com, and women take our courses. We have charm school. I mean, a lot of women are raised to work, get a job, get an apartment, and they're very like masculine, and we have to like make them more feminine. So charm school, confidence course for people that may have had, dysfunctional childhoods. You can have a horrible childhood and still have a rules husband if you follow this formula. Like, your childhood doesn't have to, influence your future if you do this formula. So we have courses, we have consultations, because sometimes you can't figure out your particular answer based on a book. We do a childhood history, dating history. To root out your mistakes and patterns that don't serve you.
So people can work with you directly.
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
That's amazing. All right. Well, thank you again, Sherrie.
All right. Good luck.